This guide is going to take you step by step on how to unlock all the achievements in Momodora, Reverie Under the Moonlight. To get all the achievements, you'll need to do at least 2 playthroughs, but likely it will be closer to 4. There are only 9 achievements, but they are actually fairly involved, which makes them actually seem achievement worthy. These achievements are Healthy, for collecting all 17 Vitality Fragments, Bug Collector, for collecting all 20 Ivory bugs, Explorer, for completing 100% of the map, Please give it to me, for giving the mushroom to the imp in the forest, Faithful, which requires defeating Archpriestess Choir, Imperishable, which is beating the game without dying, Pacifist, which is beating the game without killing any enemies, Don't Try This, which is beating the game on insane difficulty, and The True Ending, which is dipping the leaf in Hibisco tea and defeating the final boss. I'm gonna suggest you do 4 playthroughs and using them to unlock the following achievements. Your first playthrough can be on normal or easy, and you should do 100% map completion, all the Vitality Fragments, all the Ivory bugs, and the 2 hidden achievements, and the True Ending. Your second playthrough should be done on easy, and it should be a pacifist and no death run. Your third playthrough should be done on hard, and strictly as practice to unlock insane difficulty. The True Ending should be optional here. Fourth and final will be on insane. This is an absolute bare bones minimalist run through the game. The True Ending is optional. I can confirm that you can get the bad ending and still get the achievement here. Before we get into all that, we should get into some of the basics. You have 2 weapons in Reverie Under the Moonlight, the Leaf, which functions as your melee attack, and your bow, which obviously is your ranged attack. The Leaf has a higher damage output than your bow, but your bow is way easier and safer to use, especially on most bosses. Using your Leaf puts you at risk of getting hit, but with your bow you can safely unload on enemies without fear of reprisal, and it gives you a lot more forgiving timing windows. For the majority of the game, the bow will be the go-to strategy. There are a handful of enemies that are immune to arrows, and we will have to tackle those with the Leaf or alternative strategies. You can charge your bow, and there are a few charge levels. Rapid fire by simply mashing the button is the easiest way to deal damage in the early game. Then there's a single charge, which is a more powerful shot. Then the next charge is a spread shot, which fires 3 arrows, and this can be good for hitting some of the harder to reach enemies. Then finally, after an unlock, you get a new tier of charge, which is a rapid fire volley of arrows. This is best used in conjunction with your Leaf for extreme damage output. Simply charge your bow and attack with your Leaf, then when you're fully charged, unleash the arrows. That being said, for most encounters you're better off sticking with your bow, especially for hard and insane difficulties, as it is significantly safer. If you beat a boss without taking damage, you'll be rewarded with an active or passive item. These are very powerful and will greatly increase your damage output. I'll be giving strategies on how to beat bosses without getting hit, and you should be actively attempting these, as it is required for beating the game on insane and extremely beneficial all around. There are some nuances to the way combat functions. You can roll through enemies, which is going to be super important for the Pacifist achievement. Also, rolling is faster, so I'll be rolling a lot. Feel free not to roll. I know it looks kind of dumb. This first playthrough should really be your casual playthrough. Normal or easy doesn't matter for the achievements. The only difference between normal, easy, hard, and insane is the amount of starting health you get and how much health you get from upgrades. Watch the cutscene at the start and immediately go back to your left for some hidden map percentage. Then head back and proceed forward. The Grove is a tutorial area and it's pretty linear here. Just head forward and get used to jumping. On the second screen, you'll have to fall down some one-way platforms to find a chest, hit it to open it and get some money, and then head back up and continue to your right. Here you'll find the Bellflower. You can basically think of this as an Estus flask from Dark Souls. Enter your menu and equip it and continue to your right. Just keep proceeding forward here, nothing much to note until you find spikes. Shoot an arrow across the gap and then wait for the platform to rise, jump on it, and proceed forward. You'll eventually hit a bell shrine. These are effectively bonfires from Dark Souls. You can slap it with your Leaf for a quick save, or you can stop and save and have the warp option later down the line once you unlock it. Just keep heading forward here and eventually you'll find a shield imp. The easiest way past these is just to roll through it. Killing these imps is a pain, and not overly worthwhile in most cases. This next area has more imps. Just use your bow or Leaf to take them out before proceeding and dodging the spikes. Now head forward. 2 imps will drop down once you get close to the waterfall. Just avoid them or kill them if you want, then drop down the platform and break the chest for more money before heading back up and to your right. Now run forward and hit the elevator to head down. When you land, you'll want to head left and smack the wall to reveal a secret door. Go through here, kill the imp, and collect the first Vitality Fragment. This is 1 of 17. Now head back, proceeding down this area and clearing out any imps until you reach the bottom. Head to your left first. Do a bit of platforming and get to the next screen. This guy may look intimidating, but if you rush him, he literally cannot hit you. Take him out, collect the money, and jump up to find an Astral Charm. This has a chance of you getting more money from enemies. Equip it if you're on normal. On easy, you'll have extra accessories already, so don't bother. You're finished here, so head back to the junction and head right this time. Clear out the enemies here and jump to the center island. Jump over to or shoot the crystal orb and the stone will drop, allowing you to pass. Move forward until you find a shrine. Hit it to save, and then drop down to find the first Ivory bug, and then jump up and hit the bell again before moving forward. Use the pink bouncy things to jump up, then kill the imp, and then drop down and you'll find a spider. Don't attack it, as it will function as a merchant later, so just roll through them and head down the hole. Drop down here twice and hit the wall on your right for another secret door. Go inside and collect the second vitality fragment. Then head back and head down. Dodge the mist here, it will poison you. Ignore the room on the left for now, we have to backtrack here again. Just drop down. Then drop down again and head into the secret area below you to find a chest and more map percentage. Then head back up. Continue to your right and pick up the Ivory bug near the jumping imp before moving forward. This is the second one. If you're fast here, you can get this in one cycle. If not, you'll have to wait. Kill the imp and then get past the one with the shield. Wait for the block to come back down, jump on it, and then wait for it to go up. Then jump onto the platform and then up again to the platform above you. In this area, there's a hidden chest beside the shield imp. You can grab it for some extra money before continuing to your right. This area is straightforward. Just get past the enemies and head to the ladder. You'll probably get hit by a grenade, but just zone to your right. There's another bell here. Make sure to hit it. There's a boss fight ahead. Daihlia is pretty easy, but you should make an effort to learn how to no-hit kill her right here. Her weakness is the pearl at the end of the tail, but it's only exposed when she takes a swing at you. The best way to damage her is to charge your bow and use jumping leaf attacks to damage her torso. Then, when she attempts to take a swing at you with her tail, back off and shoot a triple charge shot at her tail. You can summon a fairy here for help for some extra damage as well. You just need to input up, up, down, down, left, right into your D-pad or arrow keys, depending on your input method. This is a lot like your bellflower, and it resets every time you hit a bell, so feel free to use this anywhere else that you like, but I only really use it on bosses. Just take hits on Daihlia as you can, she's fairly passive. You can use only the bow if you prefer to be safe and don't want to get hit by a swipe. Around the midway point, the back side of the arena will start emitting poison gas, so avoid that third of the screen. Daihlia isn't super hard, and if you do take damage, you can either suicide or quit out to the title for another attempt at no damage. If you manage to beat Daihlia without taking damage, you'll get her pearl. This adds poison damage to your arrows. Just be warned that the gas cloud it emits can and probably will poison you. It's a net damage increase and definitely worth using, but be careful about shooting things very close to you with arrows. This is actually a very large damage increase and will be used for the majority of the game, so it is worth a few attempts of Daihlia to try to no-hit. And you'll need to do it for Insane eventually, so it's worth it for the practice here. Once she's dead, collect the pearl, equip it in your accessory slots, and head to the right towards Karst City. You can talk to the NPC here if you wish, otherwise just proceed forward. Once you cross the bridge, you'll find a shrine, but first, drop down and head to the left back under the bridge to find another Ivory bug. This is the third one. Now head back to the shrine and save. Talk to the merchant here and buy a crystal seed. This is a consumable item that increases your damage output by 50% for a short time. It is worth picking up here as you'll use it for most of the game. Now head forward, double jump, and take a swing at the witch to stun her. Then combo her to kill her. Then head up the stairs and double jump to attack the dog to stun it, then combo it to kill it. Head up this ladder. The left side is locked for now, so head right and drop down. Clear out all the dogs up top here before heading down and dropping down to kill the dog that's hidden in this box. Then pick up the vitality fragment before heading to your right. Try and avoid the witch's shots as much as possible before moving right and dodging the spikes. Inside here, head right, drop down and loot the chest, but jump back up and continue forward. Now kill or avoid this witch before dropping down and looting the bookshelf for more uses of the bellflower. These are permanent upgrades to capacity, so it's worth getting them on a casual playthrough. Then head down and to your left. Just head through this screen to the next. In here, you'll want to continue left and avoid the flame shots and enemy here. 2 careful rolls is enough to avoid both. Just continue to your left. Ignore this drop for now, instead just head left. This unlocks a shortcut. Head back to the save shrine and save. When you're ready, head back through the door you just unlocked and drop down. You can watch the scene or double tap start to skip it. This is the Mocha and Bela fight. This is another fight where it's pretty desirable to get a no-hit kill, but it can be difficult on your first few attempts. You'll start off by fighting Mocha. If you have Daiglia's pearl, start by firing a few arrows off here to poison him. Then you'll want to run up and hit him with your leaf a couple times to knock him into the back corner before retreating and continuing to pelt him with arrows from the other side of the arena. His attacks are easy to avoid. The only real issue I have is the fact his jumping pattern is unpredictable. I have more trouble getting no-hit Mocha than almost anything else in this game because of this. At about 2/3 of his health left, your controller will start to shake, which means the real boss fight is coming. Bela is easily the most recognizable boss in this game, for some obvious reasons. Your goal here is basically the same as Mocha. Poison her and use the leaf. Just be careful not to get too close to her cleavage and you should avoid getting poisoned. Once you start fighting Bela, you should use the crystal seed for an attack boost, then poison her, and optionally you can use the fairy with up, up, down, down, left, right. This fight has a very predictable and easy to recognize pattern, and as such there are a few safe spots you can stand. As long as you're standing within these areas, you'll never be hit by the above orbs. These are her most common attack. If you're lucky and fast with your arrow spam, she'll never use anything else. The attack from below is easy to avoid. Simply roll away when you see the little flash under you. If she dives underground, she'll summon 2 sets of homing orbs. The easiest way to dodge these is to run to one side and do 2 dodges once you see the flash. The checkpoint here is close, so if you do get hit, feel free to suicide or quit out to restart and retry. Once you're done, if you no-hit Bela, you can pick up the Backman patch. Then head to your left for another piece of map percentage, before heading to your right into another save shrine. Now continue right and cross the bridge. Clear the enemies or just get through by tanking hits. In the next area, you can talk to an NPC for some background info, otherwise head to your right. Be careful here, but jump the fairly precarious platforms. Take out the witch on the boats. These boats are kind of clunky, so be careful jumping off them. You really don't want to die here, even though the save is pretty close. Zone into the other side and pick up the magnet stone before doubling back. Now just get back to where you talked to Kath. Head down this ladder and into a new area. You're in water here, so you're really slow, but just like a lot of other games, underwater you can continually jump to swim. The chest only has 1 money in it, so feel free to avoid it. Continue this path to your left and drop down. There's a cutscene here. Once that's done, head to your left and climb up this ladder to get a little bit more map percentage before dropping down and continuing to your left. Here, avoid the cat lady by rolling under her and enter the next zone. There's a merchant here and a save shrine, so head down and save before heading back up and to your right. We'll have to do some significant backtracking here, so we're just going to go ahead and clear the boss and do what we can now. So drop down and head left. This area has spikes in it, so it's inherently more dangerous. If you're fast and confident, you can get through this very quickly. Otherwise, just take your time. Once you're through that room, jump across to the screen on your left. You can just zone in here for the map percentage if you want, but you can pillage the chest for some money. Just be warned, you'll get cursed. This puts a temporary no item use debuff on you and will spawn another cat lady. Get the chest if you want, otherwise get back to the previous area. Drop down and enter the room on your left. This is a straight shot of swimming to your left. You can loot the chest for a paltry sum of money on the way, otherwise just continue forward. Once clear, head to your left again and find another save shrine. Make sure to hit this, then backtrack to the previous area. Run down and avoid the spikes here. Continue to your left and you'll eventually reach the garden key. Now backtrack to the save shrine. Be very careful not to get killed by spikes here. It's kind of just annoying since we're close to the save shrine anyways. Once you get back, make sure to save at the shrine before proceeding. There is no persistent game state here, so if you die and you didn't save, you'll lose the key and have to go back and get it. Don't make that mistake, just take the save. Ignore the flashing item on your left for now, we have to come back for it later. Just jump up and continue to your left. This is just another swimming section, so proceed forward. At the end, zone up, jump up and kill the firekeeper here before getting to the next level. In this next room, if you run and double jump right away, you'll get on the platform 100% of the time, and man does it feel good. At the top, a cat lady will spawn, so go ahead and shoot her with arrows to take her down. Then jump across and head down the ladder and zone to your right. Drop down the ladder in the center here and attack the wall on your left to reveal another vitality fragment. This is 4 of 17. You should collect it before we head back up. Continue right doing the platforming tasks ahead of you. These next 2 rooms are fairly basic, just watch out for bats, they can hit you and land you in the spikes. In this room there's a rubble wall you can destroy with a bomb from the backman. Drop down and give it a couple slaps with your leaf to push it into position, then wait for it to throw a bomb. This will break the wall and give you a shortcut to the save shrine. Go ahead and head in there and save now, there's a boss coming up. Head back inside and work your way to the top of this room and zone. Here it's going to be tempting to jump down, but run to the edge of the platform and wait a second. A cat lady will spawn, so go ahead and kill her. You don't want her harassing you during the boss fight. Once that's done, heal up if you need to and start the boss fight. Derelict Frita is potentially the easiest boss in the game. Her attacks are easy to dodge, and she's slow and predictable. Start the fight by popping a crystal seed, and then running to the right corner, turn around, crouch, and start hammering arrows into her. You can optionally use the fairy here for extra damage, as well as the Backman patch if you have it. All Frita can really do is walk towards you, summon dogs, or shoot a laser. As long as you're mashing bow attack, the dogs are no threat. You'll kill them before they even get close to you. Frita will slowly inch towards you until she's close enough to do a melee attack. At this point you have 2 options. Just dodge it by double jumping, or run towards her and roll through her to get to the other side to repeat this process. Frita also has 2 lasers. There's a quick laser, which is easily avoidable by crouching, which you should be doing this whole time, and a big laser, which has a very telegraphed charge up time. There are 2 ways to dodge this. The first is to just roll behind her, and the second is to attempt to interrupt it by doing enough damage, most likely with your leaf. It's rare, but occasionally she'll disappear, at which point she'll teleport to a new location, so you'll have to do some on-the-fly repositioning if it happens. It's unlikely. Otherwise, this fight is probably the easiest in the game. You should be getting this as a reliable no-hit after maybe 1 or 2 attempts. Sitting in the corner and hammering arrows is so easy and so effective in this fight. For beating Frita, you'll get the Sparse Thread. This is a very fast, safe, and reliable way to deal a lot of burst damage in a small area around you, and it's basically a free pickup here. Pick it up before heading to your left. Use the save shrine here and collect your first crest fragment on the left. This increases your bow charge speed. From now on, it's better to spam level 1 charge rather than spamming arrows, but spamming arrows remains effective and the damage output difference isn't really that high. You do you. The technique is basically rhythmic pumping, which gives you a slightly higher damage output. Otherwise, just continue to mash, it's not going to make that big of a difference. Save on your way back after collecting the crest fragment and backtrack to the shrine before Frita. Head back to your right and follow the way we originally went to get the garden key. Pass down here and get through the swinging platform room again and head back past the cat lady. Instead of going left here, head to your right. This path is totally linear, so just continue to your right. Avoiding the blades here is pretty easy as long as you're patient. Once you're at the bottom, use the garden key and enter Whiteleaf Memorial Park. Head right and use the shrine to save. This looks like a dead end, but go ahead and attack the right wall to reveal a new path. Here, just continue to your right, avoiding the Backman bomb and zone into the next area. There are living statues here. You can shoot them with your bow or just roll past them. It's your call. At the first ladder, drop down. This area is filled with enemies and is super dangerous and not necessary for you to go through. Just immediately climb back up here. We're only here for that little bit of map percentage. Once you're back up, head right. These platforms will crumble after you step on them. Run to the midway point and fall. Then drop down the ladder. We'll have to come back here later. Just go ahead and drop down the ladder at the bottom. Once you land, head left to complete the map percentage. Go ahead and drop down the next ladder you see to find a save shrine. Save here. Now immediately head back up the ladder and to your right. There are a lot of enemies here in spikes. Just kill them and work your way to the other side to find another bellflower. Now backtrack to the save shrine. The merchant here sells a dull pearl for 1,000 money, which is the equivalent of a Diaz pearl if you didn't get it. You can farm the cash for it if you want here, but it's useless if you already have a Diaz pearl. Make sure to save. You can be a cheeky guy here and use the crystal seed and then slap the bell to get a refresh while maintaining the attack power boost going into the next boss fight, which is on your right. This is a rematch with Bela. It's very similar to the first fight with her, but her attacks are faster and while still fairly predictable, are now much harder to dodge. You'll want to start the fight by poisoning her and maintaining the poison if you have a Diaz Pearl. Sparse Thread deals a lot of burst damage as well, so make sure to use it if you have it. The Backman patch is also good, but it locks you down and can ruin your no-hit, which in this fight isn't actually a big deal, but you can get knocked off the platform and into the spikes. Her top orbs now don't only hit one spot, and instead it's a pattern that requires you to move slightly forward after each volley. Her bottom orbs also come in sets of 3, requiring you to move slightly after each one. Just back and forth movement is fine. Your goal is the same here, just continue pelting her with arrows and dodging her attacks. If she ever dives, you'll want to run to one of the corners and time it so that you can dodge one way and then dodge back. You don't have enough room to do a double forward dodge without falling off the edge this time. You can do a double forward dodge, but you'll need to be quick to jump back onto the platform with a double jump. Fortunately, this fight is one of the few that the no-hit reward is fairly useless. Don't worry if you take a hit in this fight, as the reward is simply a passive item that gives you HP for kills, and we'll have more than enough bellflowers to get us from checkpoint to checkpoint. If you do get hit, switch to your leaf. Charge your bow and do 3-hit combos with the leaf, and then unload a charge shot at Bela at the end of the combo. This is your highest DPS move, and once you get hit once, who cares about getting hit any more times? After the fight, you'll be killed in a scripted fashion and wake up in a cage as a cat. Once you gain control, attack to break the cage, pick up your torn branch if you no-hit Bela, then head right to the save shrine. Cat form has faster move speed and a smaller hitbox, but you lose your ability to use your bow. It's your preference which you prefer for your A to B travel from now on, but combat should be done in human form. After saving, head up and to your left. Inside, drop down the ramp to find Ivory Bug 4 of 20. Then head left and up out of this room. Up here, just head straight left and snuggle into this crevasse to find Bug 5 of 20. Then just head right past the 2 statues. Immediately drop down into the room below, and again into the small tunnel. There's a secret entrance here, so just continue right. This is an Easter egg room, but required for map percentage. Now head back to the previous room. Head right and bounce on the pink blocks to shoot back up to Whiteleaf Memorial Park. Pick up the glowing cat sphere here. This is an active item that lets you toggle between cat and human form. Equip it now and use it to turn back to Kaho. Head to your left and save at the shrine since you're here. Once that's done, head to your right and return to the area with the falling platforms. This time run across them all and dodge past the statue and climb the ladder. At the top, head to your left and run to the end of this room for map percentage, then double back. Now jump onto the elevator, hang on the right side and hit the switch once you get close. This opens up a door at the top. If you miss it, you can just go back down, hit it, and go back up again, but it's kind of a pain. Head up to your left, and then up and to your left again. Unlock the door on your right using the garden key. You can talk to the NPCs here if you wish, otherwise just proceed right and enter the Forlorn Monastery. Just continue forward until you find a save shrine. Make sure you see this and save here. You can talk to the nuns if you want, but don't bother donating, you'll get nothing out of it. After saving, backtrack all the way back to the room you used the garden key in on your left. Once you're here, bounce up and take out the dog and then continue on to the witch before zoning out in the top left. You'll have to remember this area for later, but for now, just make a beeline for the left zone. The next area is the same, just take out the witch. By the pink bounce block, there's a hidden platform you can jump down. Go in here and grab another vitality fragment, this is 5 of 17, before heading back up and left. This is a mini boss. It's not super hard. If you have the Sparse Thread from Frita, you can use 2 for a super easy win. Otherwise, this is one of the 3 enemies in the game that are immune to arrows, so just mash it with your leaf. You can use the Crystal Seed and Fairy here if you want, but trading blows here is super easy, and he goes down fast. Once it's dead, a pillar will come up. Now jump up onto an invisible platform close to the right side. From here, attack the wall and find Ivory Bug 6 of 20. Now proceed back to your left. Head up this area and it should look pretty familiar. Work your way up and left, and continue to your left, and you'll eventually reach the Karst City entrance save shrine. Save here and continue left past Daiglia's corpse to the next shrine. Here you'll want to use the cat sphere to turn into a cat and drop down into the now accessible tunnel. Follow this until you hit the red lightning barrier. You'll zone into Fror CL. This area is short, so just go ahead and work through until you reach the bottom right. Head right and use the moving platforms to reach the edge for map percentage and another vitality fragment. This is 6 of 17. Then work your way back to the previous area, and then continue left. This is a maze, but just head to your left, and eventually jump up onto the moving blocks to reach another ladder. At the top, collect the second crest fragment, which lets you warp between select save shrines. This is going to significantly speed up our backtracking from now on. Then just zone to your right, and again to get out of here. Once you hit the red lightning wall, you'll change back to Sacred or Daihlia Grove. Go ahead and turn back around and pick up the hidden ivory bug next to the stone blocks. This is 7 of 20. Then head back up to the save shrine in cat form. Now go ahead and use your newfound warp ability to return to the Forlorn Monastery. We'll be doing this a lot. Head right from the save and you'll find 3 paths. You should just head right for now. Just go through about 4 fairly uneventful screens to reach another save shrine. Then continue right for 2 more screens to find a witch. Talk to her and you'll get the Monastery Key. Head back to the save shrine and save. From here, jump on the pink bounce block to bounce up. The door on the right is a secret that only opens with 100% map completion, so just head left. Just pass through this area to find another vitality fragment. This is 7 of 17. Then just go ahead and backtrack to the save shrine, and now warp back to the Forlorn Monastery. You can do these next 2 areas in whatever order you choose. I'm going to go ahead and do the upper monastery first because I think it's a bit easier. Head right and climb the ladder. Ride the elevator in here and then zone into the top. Here you'll want to head left first. Just head through the first 2 zones avoiding spikes before getting to the third. Take out the enemies here and then head up and around to the top. You can bypass the enemies here to reach the top of the monastery. Head forward and jump up to ring the bell to gain more map percentage and some bonus money. Once you're done, head back. You can take out the enemies here if you want now. They do have a lot of HP, but they do not have any scary attacks. Just pelt them with arrows from a safe distance. Killing the big guy reveals a tainted missive. This uses some of your HP to give you a 100% damage bonus, which is a significantly stronger steroid than the Crystal Seed's 50%. Keep it in your back pocket if you want. Now we're done up here, so go ahead and head back down to the elevator room. This time, head to your right. Take out the enemies and use the Monastery Key to open the door. It's very easy to get killed by spikes in this area. My suggestion would just be to switch to cat form and wait for the first set. Once the second set goes down, go ahead and jump through it as this is the safest way. Zone into the next area and continue until you hit the save shrine. Under the shrine, there's another hidden path. Attack this block and drop down. Drop down this ladder to find another ivory bug. This is 8 of 20. Then climb back up the ladder. Get into cat form and go through this tunnel. Pick up the soft tissue at the other end. This is required for a secret boss fight and achievement, so make sure you get it here. Also, make sure to continue through another hidden path for another ivory bug. This is 9 of 20. When you're done, return to the save point and then head to your right for a boss fight. Pardon or Fennel is another fight where a no-hit victory isn't really necessary. You'll be rewarded with a few extra tainted missives, which your mileage may vary with. She starts the fight by shooting lightning where you're standing. Go ahead and move forward and start unloading arrows into her. Then she'll start charging you with a 3-hit combo on her swords. She also does a jumping attack which can curse you, which prevents you from using items. Her AI script isn't the best, and sometimes she'll just spend a lot of time whiffing the air, which is to our benefit. At around 50% HP, she'll do a backflip and start buffing her sword Dark Souls style. If you have the Backman patch, this is a prime opportunity to use it. Also, feel free to use the Sparse Thread as well as the Fairy if you see fit. Again, the Fairy is up, up, down, down, left, right on your D-pad. She's not overly tough, but it's very easy to get hit from the third hit of her combo. Thankfully, the save is close if you want to perfect her, giving you ample chances to do so. Otherwise, just pelt her with arrows until she dies. If you do get hit, resort to smacking her with your leaf and unloading a charge shot at her. Once she's down, pick up your prizes if you hit her, then proceed to your right and collect the third crest fragment. This one unlocks the strongest charge of your bow, and it is very strong, but takes a long time to charge up. Now just backtrack to the save shrine and warp back to the Forlorn Monastery again. Hand off the tissue to Archpriestess Choir and then save again. Head right and this time down. You should hold left down this massive drop to find a chest with more money, then continue taking the plunge. At the bottom, head to the left to enter the Cinder chambers. This area is filled with traps, so it's best to proceed with caution. Just proceed through this first area, killing the enemy if you see fit. Drop down the first ladder that you come across. Then head left and hop onto the platform and zone into the right side. You'll find a save shrine here. Go ahead and save. Continue right, but stop right before the drop. Wait for the arrows to finish shooting before dropping down. Drop down again and head to the right briefly for some more map percentage before turning left and dropping down. Here just head right, avoiding the backman's bombs and drop down the ladder. Check the merchant's wares if you want, but we only came here for the map percentage. Double back and cross up to the left. Drop down here. Just drop straight down this area. Drop down again and you'll find another save shrine. Make sure to take this. It's a boss coming up, and it's a hard boss. Head to your right and unload arrows into the Mimic to clear it out, then continue forward and drop down. Drop down again to enter the boss arena. The boss won't spawn until you head to your right. Go ahead and take out the explosive barrels if you wish here. I like to take out the ones on the left because I find that I get hit here too often if they're still around. Once you're ready, head to the right and witness a cutscene and the start of the battle. Heretical Arsonist is likely to be the hardest no-hit boss and will take you several attempts to complete. Don't feel bad. It took me more fights than I care to admit to get this down and I still fail at it occasionally. Start the fight by popping your crystal seed and then start spamming arrows. Kath will help you out a little bit here, but she's unreliable for damage. If you're lucky, she'll deal quite a bit. You're safe if you're a reasonable distance from Arsonist, but she has a nasty habit of teleporting around. If you ever see a set of orange balls coming towards you, you want to actually wait for them to get very close before moving away. She'll do a series of teleports and explosions here, and if you wait for them to get very close to you, she'll do them all in the same location, giving you a lot more distance to play with. You can't jump over these as when she teleports there's a large pillar of fire. She'll also ignite the ground, which you can attack with your leaf to clear if you're being careful. Kath's swings will also clear out the fire. Basically, you just want her to teleport, then wait for a chance to get to the other side of her so you have more distance. The majority of this fight is getting a feel for the teleports. If you understand them and how they behave, the fight is really easy. It's just a matter of keeping your distance and unloading arrows into her. A no-hit victory yields one of the most powerful accessories in the game, the Pocket Incensory. This adds flame damage to all of your attacks. Bow shots, leaf swings, even things like the Backman patch. It's extremely coveted and worth picking up. You can buy one shortly for 2,000 money, but this one is free, and you'll need to start getting practice for no hit for insane anyways. Equip this next to a Dia's Pearl and never take it off. It is that good. Once Arsonist is down, talk to Kath. Then head to your right to find a save shrine and the final crest fragment. This one lets you air dash, which is extremely useful, and the last bit of platforming we need for our backtracking. Now it's just a matter of picking up everything we need, and then doing the final dungeons. Save again, and then head to your left. Cross this nightmare section using your newfound air dash ability. Feel free to take out anything in your way with your bow. In this next room, use your bow and shoot the bombs through the wall to get through. These are the only spikes in the game that won't kill you, but they do deal a ton of damage, so don't worry too much, but do worry a little bit. At the right side, attack the wall for another Ivory bug. This is 10 of 20. Then jump up, cross the spikes, drop down and grab another Vitality Fragment. This is 8 of 17. Now just jump across these platforms, kill the Backman, and pick up the Cinder Key. Now backtrack out of this room and head up and return to the save shrine. Make sure that you save here. Head up and to your left to find the bug from Sacred or Daihlia Grove. Talk to him to see his merchandise. Nothing is really valuable here. Drilling arrows aren't nearly as useful as they sound, but it's cool. Map percentage, bro. Exit and climb up the ladder and bounce up the exit to the left side. Head left while dodging these falling maces. They deal a lot of damage, so heal if necessary in between hits. In this room, jump up before the first mace to find a hidden Ivory bug. This is 11 of 20. You'll want to jump up and move left to catch it. Now continue left, dodging the maces, and use the Cinder Key at the door. Kill or avoid the enemies here and continue to your left. You'll find another Vitality Fragment here at the end. This is 9 of 17. Drop down and hit this switch. This disables the traps in the Cinder chambers, which hilariously we're basically done with. Backtrack to the previous room and head up the first ladder that you see. Bounce up this room and exit to the top. Now head up to your right, avoiding or killing the enemies in your way. Continue to your right, backtracking to the entrance of the Cinder chambers. Here, kill the enemy and then double jump and dash into this hidden alcove to find an Ivory bug. This is 12 of 20. Now return to the previous area. This time head to your left. Climb up this area and continue left to reach Whiteleaf Memorial Park. Follow this area up to the top, avoiding or killing bugs here. Once you zone, head up to your right. You should continue to the end of the area, avoiding the Rune by jump dashing. Then climb the ladder, and at the edge there's another Vitality Fragment. This is 10 of 17. Now just head back from where you came. This time, head to your left. Go ahead and jump over the elevator and continue up to Car City, and then right to reach the Forlorn Monastery. If you want, you can make a detour to hand in your Ivory bugs for some rewards, but I prefer a bulk hand in at the end of the game. At the save shrine, save and warp to the Subterranean grave. We're doing some backtracking here. Head right and then down, then climb the ladder to the treasure chest, before hitting the hidden wall to your right and entering. Now turn into cat form and follow this tunnel to find another Ivory bug. This is 13 of 20. You can open the cells and talk to the prisoners by hitting the orb if you wish. Now continue back to your left and past the swinging platforms room, then down to your left, past the large empty room, and then through the spike room. And return to the second save shrine in the Subterranean grave. Grab the dirty Shroom from the tunnel in cat form and head to the save shrine. Save, and warp to Sacred Daihlia Grove. From here, just head to your right past all the enemies until you reach the elevator. Jump over it and enter the tunnel in cat form to find another Vitality Fragment. This is 11 of 17. Then head back to the ladder and ride it down. Continue through the grove until you reach the room with the crystal and the locked door. Clear the enemies here if you wish, then get to the central platform and jump dash into the hole as a cat. Now you'll need to do some tricky jumping to get above you and find another Ivory bug. This is 14 out of 20. Continue forward, saving at the save shrine. Just continue forwards exactly as you did at the start of the game. This time, once you reach the double poison geyser, head to your left. Talk to the imp here and give her the dirty Shroom. This will unlock the first achievement. Please give it to me. You'll also get the rotten bellflower and finish up the Sacred Daihlia Grove map percentage. We're done in here, so make your way to the save shrine before Adia. Just make sure you don't get hit on some spike traps or die on the way here. At the shrine, go ahead and save. Now here I missed some map percentage in the Cinder chambers, so I went and quickly finished it off. Warp to Cinder chambers, head left, then drop down past these enemies and drop down again. Then just air dash across this gap and land, avoid the Firekeeper, drop down again and again and again to reach the save shrine. Save here, double check you're finished with the Cinder chambers map percentage, and then warp to Whiteleaf Memorial Park. There's not much to do here, it's just a short route. Head right until you reach the collapsing platforms, drop down the ladder, then jump and dash to the left to find a hidden area and collect Ivory bug 15 of 20. Now just drop down and head down to the next ladder, slap your save bell and head back to the Bela arena. Head past where the wall was for the last bit of map percentage in Whiteleaf before heading back to the save shrine. Now warp to Car City. We've officially finished backtracking for now. Go ahead and head right and jump and take up the witch and the dog, then head up the ladder. With the 4 crest fragments, we gain access to a new area. Approach the white door and head left to enter the Royal Pinot Cave. It's an art gallery. It's an art gallery. Enter here, talk to the NPC if you wish, and then ring the bell to save. Now just head forward to find a very well hidden Vitality Fragment. This is 12 of 17. Some mini Freitas will spawn when you go down here, so be aware. You can just head back to save if you want, otherwise continue to your left. Take out the enemies and drop down, then drop down again to go under the door here. Now just head left for more map percentage. Feel free to listen to the music box, otherwise head back. Take out the enemies here and head to the top. You'll have to navigate collapsing platforms, so make sure to head right quickly, but also make sure you have enough height to reach the top platform. Up here, grab the 13th Vitality Fragment, then drop down and save at the bell. This is the merchant that sells the pocket incensory for 2,000 money, so if you didn't get a no-hit on Arsonist, you may want to farm around here to buy it, since it is that good. Otherwise, climb the ladder. Get past this first skeleton and head up. Clear out this skeleton and head left. Dodge past these giant blocks and pick up the 14th Vitality Fragment before leaving. Now just work your way to the top of this area, killing or avoiding the mini Freitas and zoning out to your left when you reach the top. Now drop down and take out the skeletons. Then run to your right into the hidden alcove to find the 16th Ivory bug. Then head left, up the ladder, and up the second ladder. At the top, head into the room on your left. Transform into a cat and go through the maze area, avoiding or killing the backmen and the mini Freitas. At the top, pick up the 17th Ivory bug and drop down to exit on your right. This next area is kind of annoying. Take out the skeleton on the moving platform on your right first so he doesn't harass you. Then you need to hit all 3 switches. You can shoot your bow or just jump in there and smack them with your leaf as a cat. You need to go into the center one to get the 18th Ivory bug. Once you've done all that, ride the platform to the top and zone onto your left. Continue left until you find a red skull to make sure you have your map percentage, then head down. Stick to the right side here and just drop down multiple times. Take the time to heal or kill enemies if you need to before continuing dropping down. Once you hit a room filled with treasure chests, pick up the black sachet and then destroy the painting. Jump down and take out the treasure chest with your bow, one of them's a mimic, and loot all the money in here. Then head right and return to the save shrine. Now it's just a matter of backtracking back to the room with the 2 moving platforms. The path's linear, just head up through the various rooms until you get back there. Once you're back, go ahead and head to your right this time. You want to be careful in here because it's easy to fall down the collapsing platforms in the middle underneath the painting of the girl. To avoid this, double jump and air dash to get to the right side and then climb up the ladder to the top. Now you want to make your way to the top of this section. Feel free to kill anything on the way. At the top, loot the sealed wind on the right side. We need this for the true ending. Now just head back down, and then back down again to where the painting of the girl is, and fall. Now just follow this linear path. Feel free to kill or dodge anything in your way. It's a bunch of screens, just be careful to avoid spikes, and the enemies in here do a lot of damage, so stay healed with bellflowers. Once you see the small group of Freitas above you, you're home free, and you just need to drop down. Head left and open the door from the other side, and save at the save shrine. Now you just have to head to your right and drop down the first ladder that you see. Just follow this path to your right, avoiding or killing enemies and avoiding spikes until you reach a switch. Once you hit it, turn around and drop onto the pink bouncer to rock it up once the gate's out of the way. Then head left and unlock the door. Go ahead and backtrack to the save shrine if you want, there's a boss coming up. Now continue to your right, through the door, and get to the boss area. Duchess Lupiar and Royal Huntress Magnolia is one of the harder fights to no-hit, mostly because you have to fight Lupiar while Magnolia will shoot arrows at you from above. Oh yeah, Lupiar is one of the only enemies immune to arrows too, which severely hinders our go-to strategy. If you want a no-hit win, the best bet is to use the Backman patch with the Pocket and Sensory. This is a speedrun strategy, but it's super easy to set up. Make it to this section in between the 2 windows. Here you'll want to use a Backman patch and then run forward to trigger the fight. Double tap start to skip the cutscene and you'll start the fight. Lupiar will be absolutely demolished by the fire-buffed Backman patch, and while she's getting hit by that, you can fire off another Backman patch and then finish her off with melee attacks or a single Sparse Thread. Then you just have to take out Magnolia. I strongly recommend the Backman patch strategy here. Lupiar is easy enough without it, it's just a lot harder to avoid getting hit. If you don't use this strategy, or you don't have a Backman patch, just concede the no-hit and start slapping her with your leaf, and you should be able to easily trade blows with her. You should have enough bellflowers to heal through the damage. Once her health bar is down, Magnolia will come fight you. Magnolia is much easier than Lupiar, and you can use arrows. Just charge your bow and wait for her to teleport down, then start unloading on her. She'll attempt to melee you, then teleport away with an explosion. Just keep an eye on where she warps and continue to unload on her with arrows and keep your distance, and she'll go down without much fuss. The no-hit reward here is heavy arrows, which significantly increases your bow's damage output. They are absolutely worth getting, however it won't make or break your playthrough. Adia's Pearl is reasonable damage, heavy arrows are just much better. Once you're done, move forward and hit the save shrine, then backtrack down and enter the sewers to Karst Castle. The enemies in here deal a lot of damage, but there's not much of note. Just follow the linear path, killing or avoiding the enemies and dodging the spikes and pitfalls. Once you hit one of the pink bounce pads, head up and to your left. You can talk to the cat if you wish for some background, otherwise hit the switch and cross the drawbridge for map percentage. Go ahead and save at the shrine since we're here. Then head back across the bridge into Karst Castle. Continue right until you reach a ladder and an exit to your right. Take the right exit. Follow this path, avoiding the pits until you reach a save shrine. Save here, and it's a good opportunity to do some backtracking. To get the true ending, we need to upgrade our Maple Leaf. To do this, warp to the Forlorn Monastery. Now head left until you enter Karst City. Follow this path up until you reach a witch by a windmill. Equip the sealed wind here and use it. It will open up the grate below you. Change to cat form and enter this tunnel to find the spring. Dip your leaf to upgrade it, and now head back to the Forlorn Monastery. There's a secret boss encounter here since we gave Choir the tissue. Head right, drop down the ladder, and enter the now unlocked room on your right. You have to fight Archpriestess Choir down here. She's not overly difficult, especially if you have the Pocket and Sensory and the heavy arrows. You can easily spam arrows on her to win, just make sure to dodge her projectiles. The further you are away from her, the easier time you have to dodge, so the arrow strategy works very well here. She will occasionally shield and block your arrows, but if you keep spamming arrows, a no-hit win is pretty easy to get. Your reward is some map percentage, a bloodstained tissue, and one of the hidden achievements, Faithful. Once you're done, head back to the save shrine and warp back to Karst Castle. Now head to your left and back to the room with the first ladder you see. Climb it. Kill the enemies here and climb up the next ladder. At the top, kill the enemy on your left and jump dash into the wall. It looks like you're gonna die, but there's a hidden platform here with the 19th Ivory bug. Then get back across, kill the witch, and jump onto the moving platform. Then take out the skeleton before heading right and bouncing up to the next room. Just take out the witch here and head up the ladder. Swap to cat form and navigate this maze and continue going to your right. You'll reach a series of drops. Go ahead and stick to the right side and just drop all the way down until you see a switch. Hit it and you'll activate a block and a shortcut to the save. Head down and save. Now climb back up and head to your right. Fire a ton of arrows here to kill all the enemies or just roll through them, your choice, but continue right until you find a ladder down. Drop down, turn into a cat, and head to your right. At the end of the collapsing platforms is the 15th Vitality Fragment. Only 2 left. The chest at the bottom has nothing of value, so go ahead and skip it. Just backtrack the way you came in, and climb the ladder again. At the top, say your prayers and do a double jump air dash to reach the other side. Then a second air dash and run to the end. Ignore the ladder this time and head to your right. Avoid or kill the enemies here and continue right until you reach another ladder down. Continue dropping down here to reach a junction. Head left and kill the enemies to pick up the last bellflowers in the game. Then head right and jump dash across the floating platforms to pick up the 16th Vitality Fragment. Make sure you have enough platforms to get back. Once you're done down here, just head back and backtrack to that ladder. Climb up in zone, get past the enemies here, and head up. Now turn to your left, avoiding or killing the mini Freitas, and zone out to find a chest filled to the brim with money. Now continue back to the right and zone. Climb this area to find Kath injured. Ease her suffering and you'll get a Passiflora. The Passiflora is like a bellflower except it's a full heal. Then continue forward and use the save point. Continue to your left and slash the block to reveal a ladder. Head down. This is the last Vitality Fragment, so drop down and dash across the spikes to get it. You'll get the achievement Healthy right here. That's 3 of 9. Now head back up and save. Now continue to your left, killing anything in your way. On these ramparts, you'll have another mini-boss encounter, the Clone Angel. The Clone Angel is immune to arrows, so that's immediately out. You'll also get counterattacked for hitting the wrong angel. The real angel is the one that spawns the lowest. If you have a Sparse Thread, you can nail it with 2, and then a combo, and it should die in 2 cycles. If you don't, just wear it down with basic combos and make sure to always hit the lowest spawning angel. It's the real one. Afterwards, head left and then bounce up. Continue to your right and kill the witch and the skeleton. Jump up to trigger the trap, and then jump into the alcove to find the last Ivory bug. Backtrack to the save shrine and warp to Whiteleaf Memorial Park. Then just head right until the elevator and go up it. Use this time to check on your map to make sure you haven't missed anything. Then jump up to the left side and run across this area to find a bunny. Talk to her and you'll hand in all 20 of your bugs, getting various rewards, including 3 Passiflora and enough bellflowers to push you to 10. You should get the achievement Bug Collector here. You can head to Aerie in Sacred Ordalia Grove from Car City and give her the Hazel Badge for a spell that's not overly worthwhile, but you can do it if you choose. Regardless, work your way to the save shrine before the Clone Angel. It's time to finish this. This area is linear but dangerous. Just proceed forward using your bow and avoid the pits ahead. You'll eventually reach an elevator. Stay on the left until the magic comes, and then move to your right. Just keep alternating which side you're on until you reach the top. Then just head right past this area and you'll be at the final bell with hopefully 99% map completion. If you keep inching forward, you can get the 100% map completion without triggering the boss. This gives you access to a development area in the Forlorn Monastery near the witch who gave you the key. Feel free to head back, or you can wait until New Game Plus to avoid having to backtrack through Kar's Castle. Again, once you hit 100% map completion, you'll get the achievement Explorer. Once you're ready, just head forward and you'll start the final boss fight. The Queen of Kars is pretty straightforward. Your bow is still your best friend here. If you have the pocket and sensory and heavy arrows, you have a ton of damage output here. It's just a matter of dodging projectiles and avoiding getting hit as much as possible. The first phase is easy. Focus on charging your bow whenever possible and avoiding when she comes from the bottom or the side of the screen. The projectiles she throws at you eventually explode, so make sure to steer clear of them. Otherwise, it's just a warm-up for phase 2. It's an easy fight. Just unload arrows on her. If you don't have heavy arrows, the fight is just a bit longer, but still handles exactly the same. Phase 2 brings some new attacks, but is largely the same. She'll start phase 2 by teleporting to the center of the room and summoning swirling circles from either side. Get as many hits in as you can before they get too close. Then stand directly under her and you won't take any damage. You can use the Sparse Thread here to continue damaging her while you're waiting for these to dissipate. Once the magic disappears, move immediately. She'll shoot herself downwards trying to hit you. From here, it's basically the same encounter as phase 1, and you should have dealt a respectable amount of damage during that magic phase. She does occasionally use an immunity shield, but it's more of an annoyance than anything. Just keep pelting her with arrows and wear her down. Now for the final phase, which is only available if you got the green leaf. If you didn't, you'll get the bad ending here. The queen turns massive and doesn't move in this phase, instead focusing on magic attacks. The safest place is directly on top of her. The easiest strategy here is just to race. Spam your leaf while charging your bow, unload everything you have on her, and feel free to use whatever magic spells or healing items you have left. If you've been following the guide, you'll have 10 bellflowers and 4 Passiflora, which is a lot of healing, so just heal as necessary and you should be able to come out on top. Use your 3-hit combo and level 4 bow charge and you should be able to take her down before she wears you down. Feel free to use the fairy, the Backman patch, and anything else you may have. After beating her, you'll unlock the true ending. After this playthrough, you should have a pretty good handle on Momodora, Reverie Under the Moonlight, and the remaining achievements are mostly just specialized playthroughs. Pacifist and No Death are best tied together on easy difficulty, then hard and insane are something you should focus on beating as quickly as possible since health pickups are virtually worthless. As such, I'll give a route, but I'll be glossing over a lot of the body of these playthroughs here. I have videos available showing my full playthrough if you'd like more details. Pacifist isn't super difficult, you just can't kill anything that isn't a boss. That doesn't mean that things can't die. There are some exceptions. Enemies that suicide, like the ones in Kar's Castle that blow themselves up, do not count. Enemies that also jump into spikes on their own and die do not count. Finally, the dogs spawned in the Derelict Frita boss fight do not count, so feel free to kill them. But those are the exceptions. Everything else must simply be avoided. This is done in 3 ways. Jumping over, rolling, and later air dashing through them, and running through them after a slap of your leaf or an arrow stun. Jumping and rolling should be pretty obvious, it's the easiest way to get through. This is best done on easy, and as such, it's usually best to try to tie this in with your no death playthrough. On easy, you'll have an increased HP pool, and you can damage boost through a lot of areas because of this. The no death stipulation sounds bad, but it's actually not terrible. Just quit out and never choose retry, and you should be able to do this fairly easily. If you're really struggling, I would suggest looking up and taking some speedrun strategies. Momodora, Reverie Under the Moonlight is pretty easy to speedrun, and it's actually quite enjoyable, and it's one of the easiest ways to get acclimated to the no death run. So starting out, you should have 0 issues getting through the Grove, just don't kill anything. Make sure to pick up the easy 2 vitality containers here. You can grab the Ivory bugs if you want, but they won't be overly useful in this playthrough. Adi is the same, make sure to practice getting a no-hit kill. You should be making sure to get the no-hit kills down on these playthroughs. If you want to do no death and you got hit, simply quit out and reload your save and you'll be fine. You can proceed as normal through Car City, buy the Crystal Seed, and you can pick up the Vitality Fragment and Bellflower at your discretion. Lubella is the same, just take out Mocha and make sure to stand in the safe spots to get a no-hit. The Backman patch is strong and it's worth getting. The only real deviation I do here is I do Frita later. You still have to cut through the Subterranean grave and get the Garden Key. It's just easier to avoid Frita for now for a few reasons. 1, it's harder just to get to her without cat form, and 2, you have to deal with an enemy unless you have the air dash. So instead, go ahead and head to Whiteleaf Memorial Park after getting the key and fight Lubella too. Don't worry at all about getting no hit here except for practicing. Just go ahead and unload on her. Then you just have to get out of here, grab the cat sphere and head to the Forlorn Monastery. Grab the save and head back to the Sacred Daihlia Grove. Then for RCL to get the Warp Crest. I skipped the Vitality Fragment down here because it's very easy to die accidentally, and it's hard to get through here in Pacifist because of enemy positions. Just skip it and save the headache. You should have increased health from being on easy regardless. Once you get the Warp Crest again, it's a toss-up. You can do Arsonist or Fennel. I usually prefer Fennel because I don't care about getting hit on her. You can waste Fennel super hard with Pocket and Sensory though, so that's your call. Go for the easy Vitality Fragments if you want, but feel free to skip tons of stuff. Head to the Witch for the Monastery Key, grab the Vitality Fragment here if you want, then backtrack and head up the elevator to Fennel. Take her out with arrows, and if you're lucky, you get a missive. If not, no big deal. Grab the fragment and then just head down to Arsonist, skipping literally everything that's not mandatory. The route is pretty straightforward. You should always be striving for no hit on Arsonist because it gives you the strongest reward. Without the Incensory, you'll have to grind for it, and it makes the kills versus Lupiar way more difficult. After Arsonist is dead, it's just a matter of going through the motions. Head to Frita and you can use the cat form to avoid that entire room with the jumping puzzles. The main thing is to jump and dash to avoid spawning the cat lady before the Frita boss fight so it doesn't harass you. From here, it's just a matter of unloading on Frita. If you have a Pocket and Sensory, the Frita fight is an absolute stomp. Get your 4th Crest Fragment. Then head back to Car City and up to the gallery. Pick up the easy Vitality Fragments here on the way if you want. Pick up the Sealed Wind if you want to. It should be optional for a Pacifist and no Death Run achievement. You should learn the Backman patch strategy for Lupiar because it is just by far and wide the easiest and most consistent way to get a no-hit. Otherwise, it's exactly the same. Just unload on her with your leaf and forgo the heavy arrows. Then just go through the motions to finish Kar's Castle. If you want to get the true ending in Pacifist, make sure to head back to the Forlorn Monastery, head to the windmill, and unequip all your gear like the Pocket and Sensory. Walk up to the witch and slap her once, then wait a second and slap her again, and maybe even a 3rd time to knock her off the edge. Then go ahead and use the Sealed Wind and zone out to your right. Return to the gate and it should be open and clear for you to head down as a cat. Dip your leaf and then just return to Kar's Castle. I strongly recommend the Backman patch skip here. Use the Backman patch while standing near the bell and it will hit the switch, avoiding a massively long section of the game, and we don't need the map percentage anymore. Just head up to Kath, get your Passiflora if you want, fight the Clone Angel, and beat the Queen again. It should be exactly the same, and as long as you don't kill any enemies, you'll be fine. There's only a handful of problem areas. The area with the witch and the moving platform over spikes is a nightmare for Pacifist and no death. Just be patient, body tank a hit, and jump up there as fast as possible. Make sure to heal if you need to. Remember, if you die, just quit out and you'll be fine. If you kill an enemy by accident, just quit out and you'll be fine. But when traveling from A to B, you should really forget that your weapons exist. All that's left is the actually hard stuff now. To actually unlock Insane, you first need to beat the game on hard. This features additional enemies and a severely decreased health pool. These are effectively the same playthrough, so I'll just cover Insane. It's a bit annoying to have to do it twice, but that's just the way it is. You should use this as an opportunity to learn the new enemy placements on hard difficulty, as they will be the same in Insane. You may be able to tank a hit or two on hard, but vitality fragments barely affect anything. You should also practice beating bosses without getting hit here. Being able to reliably beat Daihlia, Bela, and Frita without getting hit will be fundamental. You'll have to beat them all without getting hit on Insane, so keep that in mind. You also have two real choices of playstyle here. Slow and steady, and rushing through. Slow and steady means taking your time and using your bow to take out enemies safely from a distance. Rushing through is pretty obvious. You're just going to skip everything, rolling or jumping past whatever comes in your way. Both have their pluses and minuses. It is beneficial to kill a lot of stuff with your bow since it avoids a potential hit. Strongly recommended to kill most things on Insane, except in a few places where it's quick to just dodge through. For your hard playthrough to unlock Insane, I would suggest learning how to do a pseudo speedrun. It's mostly just understanding the route. Since you're dying in a hit or two, or maybe 3 if you're lucky, a lot of items are not super useful to you and you can just safely ignore them. Your starting HP is pathetic on hard and it's 1 on Insane, but you can still collect the health upgrades should you choose. Gathering all the vitality fragments on Insane may give you enough HP to survive like 1 hit, but likely you're better off ignoring them and they're more trouble than they're worth to get. Just cut the fastest route to the 4 crest fragments and rush to the Queen of Karst. Since your HP is constantly at 1, you can benefit from the 100% attack power from the Necklace of Sacrifice. This is a 700 money purchase from the merchant at the Subterranean Grave Shrine. If you wish to farm the money, go ahead. It will make bosses take less time, which usually equates to you having less chances to screw up and lose. I haven't tested it because I've never bothered to farm the money, but it should be a significant damage increase when tied with the pocket and sensory and potentially rival heavy arrows in terms of damage output. Unironically, the hardest part of this run is the Sacred or Daihlia Grove. It's just really hard to get through without getting hit. I have more deaths here than most of the other areas combined. You can also get poisoned, and if you do, a single tick kills you, so you're just screwed. This is the hardest part of the run. Just be persistent and you'll eventually make it through, though it may seem pretty ridiculous at times. The Shrine before Daihlia marks a massive step towards completing Insane, trust me. I was ready to give up in the Grove, but once you get past it, it's a lot easier. Daihlia has a quick kill you can employ, but it's super risky and hard to pull off. If you hit her pearl with a charge shot at just the right time, you'll one-hit kill her. This is super hard to pull off, and I've only done it a handful of times. You're better off just charging your bow while doing jumping attacks and unloading on her pearl if you ever get a chance. Of course, even if you're close to the timing, you can still do a massive chunk of damage, which makes the fight really easy. Then just proceed through Karst City as normal. You can kill enemies or just give them a deterrent whack with your leaf and then run through them. Both are viable options. You should be able to reliably take out Mocha and Lubella at this point without getting hit. It should be your 4th playthrough. You basically have to, so that means you should get a Backman patch. Then just continue to the Subterranean Grave. You should be killing enemies here with arrows when possible. The bats down here are a massive pain to deal with on Insane as they're randomized. Whenever you're jumping, be ready to swing your leaf to kill them or you'll be dying a lot. In here, if you want, you can farm the cash for the Necklace of Sacrifice. It might be worth it if you're struggling. More damage output means shorter fights, and that means less chance of getting hit, and on Insane, that means less chance of dying. Then just reach Frita in the standard way, and again, you're gonna have to kill her without getting hit, which is a free Sparse Thread. Spamming arrows is easy and effective. You should be able to do it reliably at this point. For most of the area traversal from now on, shooting the majority of enemies with your bow is the go-to. It's easy and effective, and you can take things out before they're even a threat. Lubella 2 is one of the more difficult bosses to no-hit. Your goal here is pretty much just a damage race. Make sure to use the Sparse Thread, the Crystal Seed, and the Backman patch if you think you can pull it off. Otherwise, just focus on spamming arrows and unloading on her and hoping to get a good pattern. Dives aren't good, but if she spams the upper orbs, it's an easy fight. Then just head up to the Forlorn Monastery. Standard, grab the crest fragment from the Sacred or Daihlia Grove for easy warping. Less backtracking is less frustrating time lost to deaths. Afterwards, I actually find Fennel hard to do no-hit without the incensory, so for Insane, I do favor Arsonist first. Just head down to the Cinder chambers and fight her. You should be fairly adept at her right now. Start the fight with a Crystal Seed and a double Backman patch. Then once she teleports to you, get her to explode on the barrel. Then just continue pelting her with arrows and a Sparse Thread once she gets close via teleport. Once you understand Arsonist, it's pretty reliable to take her down this way. Pick up the pocket and sensory. Get your air dash, save, and warp back to the Forlorn Monastery. We don't have to do anything else in the Cinder chambers. Now head to Fennel. Fennel actually has quick kill potential. The pocket and sensory deals a ton of damage to her, so you can spam her down with arrows to get her into the second phase. When she's buffing her sword, you can unload a Backman patch into her, which is basically a free kill. When you're done, collect your missive and the last crest fragment. Now head up to the gallery. You don't need to do the true ending for hard, you don't have to take my word for it, here's the developers. Regardless of that, I can confirm that you unlock the achievement for don't try this with the bad ending, so I assume it's true for the bad ending unlocking insane difficulty. I would skip it, especially on insane, it's a bit of a mess to get up there. You should also do the quick kill on Lupiar here. It's easy and reliable to execute. Stand in the windows, Backman patch, move forward, double start, Backman patch again, and then 1 or 2 threads or an attack and you're done. Then just pelt Magnolia with arrows when she comes down and you've got your heavy arrows. But make sure the poison dissipates before you talk to her. Now just get to the Queen of Karst and it's over. Use the Backman patch strategy to avoid the upper loop around Karst Castle and just skip it. Kill a Clone Angel, kill every enemy in the later rooms, and you're at the final save, so it's all good. You won't have to kill the third form of the Queen here, you just need to kill the first 2 forms, which should be pretty easy to no-hit. Feel free to use missives to up your damage output, you're going to die in a hit anyway so it doesn't matter, and your Sparse Thread and Backman patches at your convenience. Once you're done these 4 playthroughs, you're golden. All 9 of the achievements for Momodora, Reverie Under the Moonlight, tucked away safely in your little achievement box.